Every year, Museum Replicas, whose headquarters are located about an hour away from my house, does a warehouse sale. This is a massive sale where they open up about half of their warehouse space. They set it up with all of the items that they're trying to liquidate, and they sell them for anywhere between 20 and 80% off. And this is kind of like it actually ends up being a very interesting large-scale community event, as it were, because you see a lot of people that you would see at Renaissance festivals and at SCA events and at all sorts of various events throughout the Atlanta area. They will show up at various times of the day, and they will begin searching through all the items that are for sale. And this is something I enjoy doing, although for many of the past couple of years I have not been able to attend for various reasons. But this year I was able to. And in front of me I have what is essentially my haul, or most of my haul, and some of it is some of my wife's items that I thought I would point out as being pretty neat things. But we went through and we found quite a few things that we thought we would want. And again, you're getting them for such a great discount that you really can't turn it down. I will say that this year there was an unusually large amount of LARPing items. In fact, there was an entire aisle of the space that they had set aside that was pretty much dedicated to the foam weapons that they sell. And that's not really going to be my main interest point, so I was able to skip by most of that. And of course, they have a lot of the costumes and clothing for sale. They had a large number of swords that were cold steel swords for sale that they were trying to liquidate, mostly modern cavalry sabers and such. And they actually had a very, very small number of what I could see of the medieval style swords for sale. And so I picked and chose what I wanted, and so this is what I have. And I was just going to kind of point out the items and speak a little bit to them because I'm not doing an unboxing, but I figure some of these are pretty interesting. These are pretty interesting finds that my wife found, and they are horn mugs. So we got 2 of them, and they look like they are real steer horns that have been, of course, heated and bent and turned into general mugs. I also found this interesting little Raygun. It was for sale for $12, and I figured it'd be a good little item to just kind of set on one of my shelves and look neat. Pretty interesting little kind of steampunkish prop, and so I'm pretty sure those were more expensive back in the day, but for $12 I figured that was a good kind of just decoration item. Also, we got this for my wife. It's actually a Civil War dagger, is the way it is marketed. But we are actually going to modify this, so I've already begun to take it apart. But we're going to take the handle off. We're going to rework the handle and maybe even shorten it a bit and turn it to something of a bodice dagger, because the overall size of the blade is just about right. So it won't be anything like real unique, I don't think, in terms of blade shape, but we're going to try to modify it and customize it. So that'll be a blade project for us to work through. I also picked up a couple of just blank blades that I could do my own projects with. They have these interesting shaped kind of curved dagger pieces. So I'll probably make something kind of fantasy-ish with this. And I don't really know what yet, but I figured I wouldn't pass up a fairly cheap blank blade in that case. And I also picked up 2 European-style blank blades. This one is essentially a bastard sword size, and I'm gauging that based on the size of the tang. Because if I compare, and I can compare this in a moment to the other sword that's laying here, you can see it's not exactly arming sword length. And my reason for saying that is because this is actually a screw pommel design, so the pommel would actually screw on top of this. And so it's not going to be something that is exactly arming blade length in terms of handle size, which it could look like. It may seem that way, but because of the screw pommel, I don't think it is. But I'm going to try to make something that is roughly bastard sword in design with this blade. And then I also got really lucky because this was the only one that I saw in the pile of blank blades. But I got this great sword blade. And it is really large, but it's actually not too heavy. And as you can see, the tang on it becomes kind of a rod tang. And it does look like it's welded here. So that's a little bit problematic in terms of making anything real functional. But I might try to find a way to reinforce that and at least make something quasi-functional out of this. And I don't know what sword either of these would have come with or come from. I've never seen them. Hello, cat. But I couldn't pass up. The blank blades are only $20 a piece, so it's a good way to kind of kick off a starter project without having to do a lot of custom blade shaping myself. I also found this this Bullwhip. I've never owned a Bullwhip, and so I figured it'd be fun to just go out and crack it sometimes. It was only $20, so I figured that was a pretty good deal and I wouldn't pass it up. And then the thing that I was very happy to find on sale is actually this. Now this is what they just call their European sword. So this is when Windlass does not get very inventive with their names or what they're basing it on. But this, as well as what Windlass calls their medieval sword, both of those swords are kind of considered some of their better munitions swords. That is, not something super expensive, not something really specialized, very simple in design, but meets all the basic functional requirements. A good solid peen on the back, good solid construction, standard kind of Windlass problems. I will say though that I was very happy to find that this scabbard fit very well and that the sword does not come out of it. So I'm at this point I'm getting very lucky with Windlass scabbards. And the sharpening service was on sale essentially, so I went ahead and got it sharpened there. And, oops, and it came with this free plaque, sword plaque, that I really honestly don't care about. It is from the Robin Hood collection on the back here, so from the 2010 movie. It was free, came with it, so I figured I would take it. But yeah, I was very happy because I ended up getting this sword for a grand total of, I think it was about $125 once it was sharpened. And this is about a $200 sword when you buy it basic retail. And there's nothing wrong with it. This is pretty much brand new. I see nothing that would suggest to me this has been used or that this is old or damaged or anything of the sort. So this was just a liquidation. And this is, I believe, the second series of this. So they released the European sword once before. It was highly successful, but they'd done a limited run of it. And by limited run, I mean thousands and thousands of them. But they were so popular that they did a second run. And so you can go find reviews of this sword, sword buyer's guide, etc., where people have talked about it. So I was very happy to actually see that in the rack, and there are only about 5 of them, and I went ahead and picked it up very quickly, and then in the course of just kind of walking around, I saw all the other ones go. They had some other interesting swords for sale as well. The giant, great Zweihander cold steel sword they had on sale for $150, which I guess if you're looking for that specific sword would be actually a great deal. I considered it, but honestly, I've seen the videos on it, and it's something of a joke at this point. So I figured it wouldn't really be worth my time. I already own a couple of large swords, so I don't really need another one. But there you have it. That was my haul this year. Of course, I'm looking forward to next year. I always like trying to find the good deals, and I'm very happy that I walked away with a very good, very basic arming sword that I can use as something of a beater. And really just enjoy. So thanks. I hope some other people may have had as much luck as I did. And certainly if you're ever in the Atlanta, Georgia area around this time of year, which is the mid-May time frame, they do the annual warehouse sale that same rough time every year. And it's something you should definitely check out if you're in the area. So until next time, have a good day.